I don't think you guys really understand how Studio Ghibli movies were created. I think people tend to look at the whimsical, beautiful, wonderful art style of Ghibli movies and they think, wow, the creators of that must have been going through sunshine and rainbows to create some amazing stuff like that. And Hayao Miyazaki is just a lovable old man who fostered these creative spirits like his own children, and they were able to create these amazing works of beautiful art for the whole world to enjoy. Wrong. It was hell. It was a hellish world, a hellish environment in which Hayao Miyazaki, the lone dictator, was deciding who lives and who dies, and who gets cut and who stays in the movie, and whose artwork actually gets to make it into the final cut, and who is sent home crying. And it was probably an environment of extreme pressure and extreme anxiety, where his exacting standards for how he wanted the art and the story to look drove everybody insane, drove everybody mad, where they had to like figure out like, how do I make this impossible thing happen? How do I make this thing work? And everyone's just on edge all the time trying to figure out like, okay, is today the day he is gonna explode, or is today the day I get to take a break or whatever? And everybody's trying to put their top of the line effort. They're stretching their mind beyond its own limits. They're stretching their hand, their body beyond its limits to create the type of work that he would be satisfied with. That he'll look at it and be like, pretty good. And that's it. It's like it's not a toxically positive environment. It's not a super like, hey, yeah, let me look at your work. Wow, that's good, that's great. Here, and you get an A+ and a star, and here's a cookie for you. Like, it's not created out of any of that type of spirit. Like, I don't think y'all have any idea. And I've seen documentaries of of just how harsh he was to people. Like, bro, you call yourself, like, he's looking at your work and like, bro, you call yourself an artist? I can't believe I even hired you. Who hired you, dude? Like, he's looking at your stuff and he's just criticizing your whole life. Like, you're like, you're subhuman, dude. And then somehow Spirited Away gets created. Somehow Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind gets created. Like, somehow these masterpieces like Princess Mononoke just come out, and it's like, how'd that happen? Like, wow, that must have been some kind of, fun process that they came up with to make those works and stuff like that. And fun is probably the last thing that they had on their mind. And if you've seen videos or you've seen pictures of him just like, oh, man, I hate my life, bro. Like, you think that looks fun? Like, bro is always stressed. And that's one of the most famous pictures of him, is just him like with his glasses above his head, like, oh, fuck. Anime was a mistake. And he didn't really even say that, but it's just it's not a fun process creating work on a high, like a technically high level, and on a visionary level that looks different from the norm. Like, he created that style, like, I wouldn't say whole cloth, but like, he was developing his own visionary style that he used for all his movies. And that is not easy to do, like, to create your own vibe and your own spirit, your own like soul of your type of movies, and then put that out there for the world to consume and enjoy, and then see if it's like financially viable to keep making more. Like, that stuff is not easy to do at all, and it doesn't come from like being overly positive and all that kind of stuff. It comes from like the fires of hell and and everyone trying to prove themselves as best they can. And if you look at that, like, maybe there's some workplaces that aren't as technically sound as what he's doing, and they have a more fun environment, but that's because they are not Ghibli. Ghibli is Ghibli because they had a guy like Hayao Miyazaki at the helm telling everybody what to do and making sure that his vision came out correctly. And if you look at a lot of American work, if I had to put somebody under the bus, like sometimes you could see it reflected in the quality of the work, where the animation just isn't there, like it just isn't hitting like a Studio Ghibli would be. But that's too much of a generalization to really be accurate. It's just a lot of these quote unquote like toxically positive work environments aren't what fosters genuinely innovative and creative work. Like you have to be mean sometimes, or you have to get down people's necks sometimes and really pull out the core of what they're able to do by pushing them, putting pressure on them, and building them like a diamond. Whereas if you don't have any of that type of pressure on you, and you can just do whatever you want, write the story however you want, and just draw however you want, it's like, no, there needs to be a standard. There has to be a standard, and he's the one that set the standard for Ghibli, and made it to the top of that industry. He had a generational run for so long, just with the movies that he was at the helm of. And yeah, I'm not sure if we will see anything like that in the coming years, but maybe there'll be another. But I doubt we'll see anything quite like Miyazaki. But yeah, that was just what was on my mind while I was driving home from work today. And again, I'll tell you guys to check out my latest webcomic, Saintly. It is a demon chase horror action comedy about two best friends who have to outrun the demon loan sharks that they borrowed from. Basically, it's like Scooby-Doo meets K-pop Demon Hunters without the K-pop. And the story backs the main character into a corner where she has to decide between the hard path to success or lose her soul to the lure of easy money. And we get to see the ramifications of her choice, and if she can hide this deal with the devil from her friend, or if it will tear them apart. And I hope you read my comic in the description and check out the story. It should appear in your email inbox or your spam folder if you don't see it. And yeah, that was my little chat about Ghibli, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.